Hey everyone, time for Puzzle Talk, the geocaching puzzle podcast brought to you by the Geocache Talk Network. If you'd like to become a patron, click on the Become a Patron heart on the front page of the Geocache Talk website, or head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get the now famous blackout coins and other geocaching items during the year, as well as bonus content, invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as Bison Tube level, which is $3 a month. So here are your hosts, Charles Watkins, Tom Brotherman. Take it away, gentlemen.
You take it. I'm typing.
You take it. Well, I can throw it back to me.
Okay.
Throw it back to me and we can do some of this. In the news this week, we've got the announcement was made on the Sunday show about the Podcast of Hope 2020. And that's going to be on December 6th. So let me put that up on the screen. Yeah, so every year it's usually around that weekend-ish, kind of. Last year was December 1st. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. We're in the process of getting that show ready. 8-hour podcast. If anybody's not familiar with Podcast of Hope, we raise thousands of dollars for St. Jude Children's Hospital in their battle against childhood cancer, and it's gonna be fun. We'll have a good year. We're still in the planning stages for all that, but last year we got, I would say, lucky, maybe. No, I don't know how y'all say lucky, but
we're talented.
We're talented. We got Mike Rowe was on for one of the hours, and I got finagled in Jim O'Hare from Parks and Rec to be on for a few minutes before he went off to do his
play practice.
Yeah, he had a show he was going to be in, and but he was gracious enough to come on and put some money towards St. Jude, and which helped us get to our goal. We were going to raise $5,000. Last year we raised almost $8,000. So this year we're going to raise $8,000.
The goal is $8,000.
The goal is $8,000. So maybe might raise more than that. So we'll see.
And tentatively 4 to midnight.
4 to midnight is the definite schedule for 4 to midnight Central Time.
Well, I'm putting it on my calendar now, so nobody can schedule something else for me.
There you go. 4 to midnight. Everybody put on your schedule. December 6th, 4 to midnight. Join us for the whole thing. It's a lot of fun. We give away a lot of stuff as well. I mean, the point is raising the money for the hospital to.
Yeah.
But as a benefit or a perk of giving money is that you are eligible for prizes, and we had a plethora of prizes. You like that? Plethora of prizes. So we talk about languages tonight, and so I put out the call again, and I've already gotten several cool things that we're gonna give away. We give away some Cashly coins. We're going to give away shirts. We got some art and crafted shirts. We got some more of those, but we've got some other things.
Remember the fat guys on the shirts.
Right. Make them, big. Yeah. Well, the good thing is that what we've been doing lately is they don't send me the prizes. We basically wait and we tell them who won the prize, which makes it so much easier. So we don't double ship. There's no real reason to ship stuff to me and then me turn around and ship it out. It's easier if I just tell the vendor and say, so-and-so won, get in contact with them, and then they can kind of work it out with them so we can make it a little more efficient. But David Reeves, Drives Cash Closet, graciously gave some more prizes. So they're starting to add up. So I'm really looking forward to, and I'm working hard to get good guests as well as you guys. I cracked myself up. All right, over to all right, I'll get out of the way. Y'all take over.
Oh, all right. Tom, where do we start with this?
See, today we're going to talk about languages.
There you go.
Um,
Direwolf, he's like 24-hour show. No. 8 hours.
it's 24 if you watch the repeat twice.
3 times.
No, that's 8 plus another 8 makes 16, and 8, 24. Okay, Gary, you're not doing puzzles for us.
I'm sorry.
That's right. We're gonna start with a couple of tools. We have mentioned one of these before. I don't know if we've mentioned this first one yet or not, but let me throw it up here on the screen for us.
Gary, move. You look like you're frozen. Okay. I was worried there for a second.
I'm just listening intently. Which one's he talking about? Okay. I thought you were going to pull up a different one. That's a cool one.
Yeah, I thought you were going to pull the other one, but that's all right.
All right.
All right. Hang on.
Bang that computer.
It all jumped around on me. This one.
Oh, yes.
That one.
Omniglot. Multiple languages, right? Glot.
Yeah.
Is that what that? Okay.
Yeah, glot is a
Greek root word.
Yeah, it's a Greek root for. I'm gonna look it up for tongue. Yeah, for tongue. Glot comes from the Greek, which has the meaning of tongue.
I don't know, but every time I look at the site, it keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, and they keep adding all kinds of crazy things to this. So their writing systems, constructed scripts, which is where I go and look at a bunch of stuff because they have right here, they have a fictional alphabet section. Languages, multilingual pages, and then they have a what's new page. The what's new page is always got something going on in it. But if you looked at this, let's see if this will. Yeah, so the constructed scripts.
Ooh, okay.
If you come down here and click on this fictional alphabets, like as Hawaiian, Vietnamese, Turkish, right? So this has Sanskrit. Sanskrit. There are a bunch of natural languages on this page, but there are some also not natural languages on this page. So when you click on functional or the fictional alphabets, you'll get a bunch of the J.R.R. Tolkien's
cool
stuff right here at the top. All of these are all scripts that he has in one of his novels somewhere, be it Lord of the Rings or
Silmarillion or one of the other ones.
Yeah, what's the people that live in little houses with round doors?
The Hobbit.
The Hobbits.
Yeah, so his variety of writing is not my style. My wife loves the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, and I don't think I've seen 15 minutes of a single Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh my gosh!
Much less seen all of them.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
I know it's horrible. Somehow she tolerates me. Don't ask me how.
How we tolerate you, Charles, I do not know. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, but I like that. He went to a lot of trouble for that, by the way, to do that.
He did. he has created his own languages, right?
Yep.
So he's got all kinds of neat little languages in here. Now, if you scroll past that, you get to other fictional alphabets, and as you can see here, the ceiling is I mean, if you're a video gamer, they've got a Halo Covenant alphabet.
Oh, that's cool.
They have dragon runes.
I know I saw a cast recently with that Halo thing, and now I can't remember where it was, and I don't have it in the show notes because I can't remember where I saw it.
So there are
Klingon. Is Klingon in there?
Klingon's in there somewhere, and it's what dialect of Klingon do you want? Because there's more than one.
Right. So here's Romulan.
Romulan. There you go.
And so Klingon was in here because I was looking at it earlier. There's Gnomish.
Cool.
So you just kind of have to jump into one if you want to make there's your dancing man. Right?
Dancing Man. I like Dancing Man is fairly. Would you guys think that that's relatively? I mean, I'm a puzzle amateurist, but you experts, have y'all seen Dancing Man? Probably fairly, relatively often.
I've only seen it a couple times.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
I like Dancing Man.
I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen one that I've come across without somebody saying, "Hey, this," you know. There's Kryptonian.
Okay.
So just all kinds of crazy alphabets, but if
Christopher says there's one.
That's that language.
I'm gonna butcher it. Devazel. Okay. There I go. Okay, I'm done butchering. Continue.
But if you look at one of these, like this is Romulan, right? And Romulan has an A through Z and a 0 through 9. But not all of these alphabets have a 0 through 9. Most of them are strictly alphabetic, and they're not the alphanumeric. So if you come back and look at some of these like Kryptonian, they're just A through Z, right? So there is no numeric portion to the Kryptonian alphabet. And so if you wanted to make a puzzle based off of this, you just have to know that you have to spell everything out. But if you come across a puzzle that you don't know what it is, this is a good place to just come and look and scroll down the page,
right?
And see, all right, is it one of these? Is it one of these? And if it is, you know, like if it's Gnomish, if you look at it and you're like, oh, that's Gnomish, you know, because I recognize the little mushroom. Oh, mushroom is K,
right?
But again, no numbers. So if you wanted to make a puzzle out of this, you have to spell everything out, which is not a bad deal. But again, just some, you know, for the viewers and listeners, and it's in the show notes. And so we'll get back to that. But that is one of the places that you can go to, at least initially, if you're just straight up don't have a clue where to start. You're looking at something that symbols that you don't know what they are.
Right.
You know, there you go. This is a good resource for you to come in and take a look. It at least gives you some a sample of the alphabet so that you can kind of compare what you're looking at on a page to a known alphabet somewhere.
That's excellent.
So before even coming here, I would use a title and maybe if there's anything in the description to see if there's anything that helps narrow down where to look.
Yeah.
You know, if it's talking about hobbits, well then you might have. I mean, you'd have to know that's a Tolkien thing, but it's like, hey, I bet it's one of those kind of languages, and go to the fictional stuff.
Right.
And
One thing. Yeah. One thing. Sorry. One thing we're gonna want to bring up since you guys are doing languages tonight. One thing people might ask is, what about cuneiform or some other things, semaphore with the United States Navy or other things? The Puzzle Talk will be doing symbols next Tuesday. So if we seem to be skipping over items that are languages, but they're actually sort of symbolic languages, then that's going to be covered next week.
Correct. All right. So we have shared this resource with you if you have seen our previous shows, but we're going to pull it back up again for you. This is the decode.fr. And in here, I guess let's get back to, so when you get to the main page, there is a section.
I'm going to slow you down just for a second. When you go to decode.fr, it'll be in French.
Oh.
And you can either add a /en at the end, or at that top right of the page, there's a thing to switch it to English.
There is, yes.
Or you could just do it in French.
Right.
Decode.fr/en, or you can pick English off the thing or you can do it in French if you live in that part of the world or use that language primarily, then you could use that.
I use French all the time. Give me some French toast and some French fries.
That doesn't count, Tom.
So right here in the middle where it's at Codes and Alphabets tool, if you click on the See All, it will bring up all of these tools. So here's Morse code, ROT 5, ROT 13, ROT 47, shift ciphers, but there's some language deals that are in here, the T9 for text and whatnot. So there are some language tools that are in the decode.fr/en that will help you binary and whatnot. So this is another, again, just a resource to come if you know what you're looking for but don't know how to convert some of it, or you're looking for a user-friendly place to do some of that. This is a good place to come and look for.
When I come here and I find the actual language I need, I mean, I could have it decode the whole thing. If they put the script in, they didn't make a JPEG out of the thing, and they put it where you could copy it, you can put it in. But I usually don't do that. What I do is I'll type in all the symbols they have, or drop them in the thing and say decode that, and have it print the alphabet out, and then I'll just do it by hand myself. I just like doing it that way.
Yeah, there are plenty of times that I've jumped in there and done just like that. I'll get in there and say, just type out the alphabet in alphabetical order and then decode it and get the symbols. And I know that one's A and the third one down is C, and so forth. So, and I have done a lot of those by hand as well. So
I should have brought the thing. I did one before the show where I made a cheat sheet. So I did like A through N or M or whatever it was. And then underneath that, I put the A through whatever.
Oh, cool.
And then the one I did didn't have the entire alphabet. So it didn't have a W.
Right.
So in their code, they would put 2 U's.
Smart.
W.
Didn't
have a C. So it would put a K. They'd put a K, or sometimes they put 2 Ks, something to give you a hint of what the real letter was.
Right.
Yeah. And there are, if you go back and look at some of these, the alphabets aren't always a complete 26 character alphabet. Some of them are, like we were looking at one earlier that was a 19 character alphabet.
Yep. If you get lucky, like Jeff says, you can have numbers. Some of them have numbers, not all of them, but some of them do.
Well, and it was funny because I was looking at one of them on the Omniglot page that had like a 36 character alphabet, but then it only had 4 numbers. Had a 0, 1, 3, and an 8. And I was like,
why?
How is that the only numbers?
Why? Right.
Yeah. So it was. And, you know, it is what it is. But
yeah.
I was not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you were going to say 4 numbers, so it's like base 3 or something.
Right.
No, they just had some random. I mean, there wasn't a 0. It was a 1, a 2, a 4, a 5, and an 8. And you know, and you're just like, how did it? Yeah.
Yeah. Why did we do that? Oh well.
So speaking of Gary making a JPEG image out of it, the first cache page that we're going to show you, that's exactly what the cache owner did with it.
Yeah, that's something I put in the notes. We'll talk about as we go through the show, but it's more evil, more difficult if you make, because you guys have probably always seen a place where you go, oh, cut, paste, Google, done, finished.
Right.
But it takes 5 seconds and you're done. You don't even.
But I did one.
Don't even have time to quit foaming.
Yeah, I did one locally that made it much more difficult, and I think we've all run across the ones that are like, dang it won't let me cut and paste it, so now I got to do more headache to try to figure it out. So
at least in this one, you know where to kind of start with it. So this is a cache that is called "It's All Greek to Me."
Right.
Right here down in the cache page as well. So, but if you look at this is a JPEG image, or you know, whatever it could be any form. It could be a bitmap, but it is a image that is hosted, so you can't copy and paste this if you attempt to. You know, it's not going to work. It is down in the. I haven't even looked to see. Oh no, and he doesn't even have it in the image gallery.
No.
Ooh, that makes it even rougher.
This guy's hateful.
Yeah. So he's straight up just
to make you work for it
in the cache page. But at least you know by looking at the cache title, it's all Greek to me. It is a difficulty 3. But so there you go. This is it is Greek.
It is Greek.
It's all Greek. It's all Greek to me.
It's all Greek.
Oh wait, that's the name of it.
So yeah, so if you're fluent in Greek, then you know. Otherwise, you kind of gotta try and take that and see if you can.
So looking at the chat room, no, it's not in the source code because it's a picture. So on this one, what I did is I cut and pasted in the Word, and then I stretched it out, made it bigger, so I had a little more room to write in between the lines. So I personally don't mind if something's a JPEG like this, but if you're gonna do this, I wish people would put at least a little more space in between this stuff so I can write the stuff. But we were talking about this before the show, and I guess what I could do is just cut and paste that in the Paint, and then cut out each line individually and make it its own thing and put it in Word. Adds a little more time, but it just makes it easier to solve.
Right. Right. Oh, Jeff's saying you could. Yeah, I guess you could do an optical and OCR if you had a tool for that. So interesting. Ninja taking a shot at us.
I guarantee this one is not a nano in the woods because of where it's at. There are no such thing as woods where this thing is at.
That's right. I mean, mesquite bushes maybe, but yeah.
And I never said all caches in woods should be nanos. I said you could do a nano in the woods, but you're gonna have people who are gonna yell at you.
I know I've solved that one, but I don't remember if I found that one. I think I did. I think I did.
Yeah, paint. The good old paint.
Dude, I use paint all the time. And we'll get into it on next week's show, but I use paint for some of my puzzles all the time. All the time.
Simple, easy to use, Just
and people are people look at it and they're like, well, you use paint? yeah, I use paint. It was free. It came on the computer.
That's right. I don't have to go buy something.
Now
yeah,
I have
absolutely.
To look. I gotta look. Hopefully, I've got notes on this one.
Because
I've got stuff going through my head. No, I don't have notes. So that is
dang a 5.
Obviously it was Greek,
right.
but
is Greek
when you translate it, it was probably Greek letters to English words. But if he had been really tricky, it's Greek letters to Greek words, and then you gotta
figure out
figure out what the Greek is.
Yeah,
and he may have done that. I honestly don't remember, and I don't have in my notes how I solved it. And I did find it. Where did I find that one?
Sort of for a different show, but is there a good phone OCR app for these? I don't know if there is one.
If there is, I don't know, but I would love it.
Because you can hold your phone up to it and maybe use an app for it of some type.
Yeah, this is the one I saw. This is the one I saw before the show.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what an OCR app is. So
optical code reader or character reader.
Optical, yeah. The post office, the U.S. Post Office. I'm sure other post offices around the world use it because instead of them manually looking at an envelope, they run it through a machine, and the machine will look at your writing.
Gary,
figure out what you wrote. Hopefully, well, not Tom's writing, but most people's writing.
Gary, stick to the show. Stick to the show. Where do we use optical code readers geocaching? Every time you use a scanner to scan a code on a
TV
coin
tracker.
or a travel bug.
That's true. There you go.
Oh, well, yeah.
I just thought of
TV Scan or Cashly does it now, and
oh yeah, Cashly will do it. I like Cashly's some of their new updates. By the way, that's another show. That's another show.
So let's see. This is the one that I haven't. This is
I'm getting down.
I've looked at this one, but Tom, so you solved this one. So
I did this just before the show.
So go ahead and give us a run through.
Well, so this one, when it first came out the other day, and I didn't have time really to mess with it, but I had to know something. So looking at that, I have no clue what that stuff is. So then scroll up to the title, because there's nothing there in the description to tell you what this is. I mean, it just says, here's what your coordinates, blah, blah, blah. So Power of Hannock. I Googled Hannock, and then from that, I got enough clue to figure out, oh, scroll up, they want the GC code.
Everybody, they're in the show notes.
It'll be in the show notes. I think you want to follow along.
GC8 Zebra Whiskey
Quebec
Kilo. It's not Zebra, it's Zulu, isn't it? Zulu.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you wanted to stick with the military theme, yes.
I've been watching a lot of airplane videos lately, so yeah. So yeah, this one was I used a title to figure out what the language was. Then I went to decode. they have every one of those symbols there. So I put all the symbols out in order, printed those out with the alphabet. And I forget how many letter alphabet this one, because it's not 26 and it doesn't have numbers.
So the word
And then just
right. Sorry, the word
did it after that.
Yeah.
Now I got to go find it.
So what was the where did you obviously you started with the Hannock.
I started with a Hannock.
Right, but from there,
Hannock gave me a clue to what the language was.
Okay.
Actually, I think I typed in Hannock and I did the Google and I did images.
Okay.
And I think is where I got the language part.
And then
from there I went to decode.
Decode, okay.
But this one,
this is a JPEG, so I couldn't do the thing. So it was, I printed it out and then
did it that way.
Yeah, and I didn't think about the cut and paste thing that we were talking about by the show, so I just put a number by each one of those rows and then had a notepad and did each row individually so I could keep track of where I was. And
right.
But even this one, if you look at this long enough, you can figure out a lot of what's in there if you know what to look for.
Right.
If you don't screw with the language, because if you don't make a cipher or something out of it, then it's pretty much a simple substitution cipher.
Right, but you got to, but like you said,
can be anyway.
Yeah, you had to kind of figure out where to start.
We're going to hit one of them tonight that I didn't start that way. I had no clue what the code was or what the language was, and I just did it the way I told you. I looked at it and here's this word, typed that, figured that that's what it was, and it just went from there.
Oh, okay.
So if you can find like geocache, north, west, or what, southeast if you're in Australia, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something about the coordinates where you're at, maybe.
Right.
You can start picking stuff out, especially if you find like words that've got a lot of E's and the vowels in them. That makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that when we talked about code breaking was character, how often certain characters or certain letters are used in different languages. And so the most used letter in the English language is the letter E. And so if you know that the puzzle or the substitution is written in English at some level, like even one of these, if you know that at some level it's going to translate back to English, you can start kind of going through and saying, all right, this has got to be the E's in here. So
think of Wheel of Fortune. Everybody would pick the same consonants in E usually. Now I think they give you those, and you pick a couple more, but
yeah,
made them harder.
So, well, let's look at this next one. This one is.
Ooh, I like Dire Wolf's thing there about series of caches in this area called Lost in Translation, and the coordinates are given in sound bites in different languages. Yeah, that could be fun.
I found one like that by a cacher in Nebraska that has a bunch of R2-D2 astromech droid sounds, and she's got a sound clip that you have to listen to, and it's all of the different astromech sounds that you have to then try and figure out what they meant. So I kind of like that Lost in Translation bit. So this was kind of odd to me. Again, it's an image here in the middle with all of the little
squiggly lines.
Yeah, all the little humpy letters.
Lots of M's and W's.
N's, M's, and M's.
Yeah, this is a two-parter here.
But then there's a section of numbers down here at the bottom. So
okay.
Two different puzzles.
Yeah, so this one throws you for, not only do you have to figure out what all of these googly letters are in the puzzle, you then have to figure out what to do with the numbers at the bottom. Because I'm sure that by solving one may not solve the other, and you definitely are probably going to have to do both to figure out where the cache is in the end.
If you solve one of them, and I'm not going to say which one, will tell you coordinates. But if you solve the other, it's not going to tell you. I don't want to give too much away, but it just kind of gives a clue what the other one is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an exact clue. It's like you gotta do some thinking. This one was fun.
So this one is, I believe, a difficulty 4.5 for this puzzle. So definitely earns it being a two-parter.
Yeah.
So
Solved but not found. Yeah.
Right. No, it's not a maze. Or is it a maze?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I did. I got first to find on this one. This is when I solved it, and then I got it on my lunch. I had to go into work that day, and so I got it on the way to the office.
oh man, that's rough. I had to go to work today.
Yeah, and by go to work, I mean beyond the kitchen table.
Yeah.
You actually had to go to work, like you had to go to work.
God, somebody's going to make that into a book in the next year or two. Beyond the kitchen table.
Beyond the
So yeah, and that one was a 4.5 for difficulty.
Yeah, I found this last week, and that was the 13th anniversary of my first geocache find.
Hey,
I've been at this 13 years.
Charles, go ahead. I was going to say, if you had a moment, I did find something that was related to, there was a comment made about frequency.
Yeah.
Box and Treek, which is an interesting website. I put it in the show notes. The tool that counts the frequency of letters in a text. If I can show you real fast.
Go, show us, Gary.
I've been to that site, but it's been a long time since I've been there.
You got to risk it for the brisket, buddy.
There you go. Oh, don't tell me that. I'll be off to. I will be off.
I'll leave you all behind running the show. I'll go get the brisket.
Be off to. Most people don't know what we're talking about. Risk it for the brisket is Buc-ee's, and if you've never been to Buc-ee's,
I'm not even going to Buc-ee's. There's a Black's in New Braunfels now, and that's like
a
15
Black's.
minutes from the house.
Wow, Black's barbecue. That's big time.
It's a brontosaurus rib.
All right. But
now I'm hungry.
I'm a huge fan of New Rock Stars. I highly suggest watching these. But this little part is interesting. I saw the other day, but it has to do with language and puzzles. So here we go.
It could be behind this conspiracy that Riddler is trying to expose, with many secret friends who are now skeletons in their closets. More on this later. More importantly, the handwritten message reads, "What does a liar do when he's dead?" And then on the other side, a Zodiac-style string of glyphs that I have decoded, so let's code break this. Okay, the first thing you always look for is repeating symbols. So the third symbol shows up twice at the end, so it must be the same letter, right? Also, the second and the fifth are the same letter, the fourth and the ninth are the same letter, and the sixth and the seventh are the same letter. So a double letter at the end makes this a bit easy, because that means it's probably a consonant, S, maybe L, and that would mean the letter before it is a vowel. So you can apply this Wheel of Fortune, Scrabble type thinking, working backwards that way, while you look at the broader context. The cover of the card is a pun. The owl says, "Who?" So it follows that the answer to Riddler's question would also be a joke. So what does the liar do when he's dead? He lies still. Yep, pretty brilliant wordplay. That tells us something about the Riddler. He sees a liar like the mayor.
So there you go. So frequency.
Yeah.
Letter frequency, very, very key in looking at languages. You might see letter frequencies like he did, where he saw the consonants and then the vowels.
Yeah, and like Christopher said, he said sometimes brute forcing a substitution cipher is easier than figuring out what the cipher is.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a simple substitution, all you have to do generally is get enough letters in. And once you figure out, oh, well, this means this spells 3, now you have T, H, R, and E, and you can go through the rest and, and kind of figure out, oh, well, this is a 4-letter word that ends in E, but I don't have any of the other 3 letters. This could be 5, right? So sometimes it's easier to do it again. And all of this comes with experience in doing them. So,
yeah, the more you do, the easier it gets.
Absolutely. So,
the one we showed earlier, the one before this, is I was translating that by hand.
Right.
By the time I got to the end of it, I had done some of the letters so many times, I wasn't even looking back at the code. I already had, oh, well, this is an E and this is a whatever.
Right.
I already
You're
knew.
starting to learn. You were learning it.
I was learning it.
That's cool.
And then I've had a beer since then, so I've forgotten it.
Well, no, but hey, yeah, for the moment, you made good notes. That's the key, right?
Temporary brain cells.
All right, so let's look at this one, because this one actually.
Which one is this?
This is the Ronan was here.
Okay.
I came across this alphabet on one of the other pages that we shared earlier today at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Which one was that? Because I don't have this one. I was with a group that found this, and I didn't have this solved.
It's a difficulty 3.5, but a terrain 5. So
yeah, it was definitely a terrain 5.
In a boat.
No, way up a tree that ain't none of us gonna climb.
So yeah, if you peruse around some of these places and just look at the crazy alphabets, then all of a sudden when you get to something like this and you're like, oh, these squiggly lines, because the only reason I remember it is this symbol right here, that's the circle with the little squiggly line in the middle of it.
Right.
Man, that almost looks like Charlie Brown's T-shirt with little squiggles through the middle of it. So that and this Mercedes-Benz looking symbol, and then the smiley face with no smile. So the little circle with 2 dots in it. All of those were on one of the earlier alphabets that I was looking at from one of the other sites. So
do you have this? You have this one solved?
Shoot, no.
Oh, no. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing.
I've looked at it all of 10 minutes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. This is that one. So I'm just glancing at it. I am thinking the second word on the first line and the first word on the second line is the.
Okay.
Okay. E, so that would make E.
A gumball looking machine is an E, so maybe.
E.
A gumball looking machine like that. That's funny.
I almost would have said and.
And if it no, it's not. That is not. Yeah, it's not the, because 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth line down. That's 29.
Right here.
That's 29. So the last one on the third line is north. So that's north 29.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and then 33. And
so,
I'm saying, this is the first I've actually really looked at this code. I mean, like I said, I was with a group of people, and it's like, okay, I'll get it now, because we were on a roll getting first to find stuff. And so this is really, I put it on a list, but I hadn't looked at it. So with what I just told you there, those words there, I could probably do the rest of this by hand without even knowing what code that is.
Right.
Not bragging. It's just Used to
Yeah,
do.
us.
I used to do substitution ciphers at work. There'd be one in the paper every day, and I would bet people a Coke I could do it in under 3 minutes without the clue, because they usually gave you what one letter was.
Right.
And I would say, I'll do it in under 3 minutes without the clue. Give me a Coke. They're
Wow.
like, yeah, you're nuts. And it's letter frequency and knowing, once you pick out a couple words, if you get a the or something like that, some of the common stuff in there, it's easy from there. Usually.
Yeah.
Usually.
All right. I love this one because scrolling across this page says, "Congratulations to Electric Water Boy for his."
That is annoying. How do I turn that off?
So yeah, this is another one where you sit there and look at it, and yeah,
This is the one I solved this by hand. I just like I did the other one.
Somebody wants to send you a Coke through the mail, so can you crack the code for him
Uh,
and mail you a Coke?
that was years ago. I prefer beer, and I don't drink cheap stuff, except for Natural Light Natter days once in a while. That's cheap stuff. But
how about
like
some?
no Bud Light.
What's the brewery we went to with the root beer?
Oh, Legal Draft, yeah.
Legal Draft.
That one, I'll even take their root beer. That is some darn good root beer.
We'll get you a growler of root beer. That thing was
sold.
I couldn't stop drinking that root beer that night. I just couldn't. It was so good.
Yeah. So this one is called "Keeping It Cryptic."
Keeping it cryptic.
And again, this one is an image. So you can't copy and paste.
Right.
So you just kind of got to try and figure out what exactly this is. There's the pi symbol, and beta. So this looks like, whatever Greek stuff.
And you know what? No, I know what font. Okay, I did write down what font. It's not Greek.
Oh, well.
I
figured out afterwards what it was, but.
So, without giving obviously all of it away, but would you go to Omniglot and then would you go to like writing systems maybe and try to go that way, or?
No, I'm telling you, I just looked at it and I figured out what some of those letters were.
Okay.
It's lambda. There's an alpha, omega. So it's
the second. I'll tell you this much: the second word on there is what I figured out. Once I had that second word,
okay,
it went pretty quick from there.
Well, I was just trying to figure out where I would even go to. Would I use Omniglot or Decode, or
I would go.
What tool?
Decode will not help you unless you know what you got. So
right.
Omniglot's where I'd go.
Omniglot's a better tool to use for this one. Okay, that's what.
Or you copy the image address and go to Google and do a reverse image search, and see if it'll pick up something that looks similar and maybe give you a clue there what you're looking at.
Yeah. Yep. There's a good tool too. I didn't think about that. That's a good one.
So, with what I just said, that's two or three of them. Two of them we've looked at that I figured. Well, this one obviously I solved the way I told you, and the one before, I was on the way to solving the way I told you. So, what you could do to screw this up is like we mentioned on the first one that all Greek to me. If he had written everything in Greek, what I just did doesn't work because I don't speak Greek. I can't spell Greek words unless some of them are the same. Or if you make it a cipher in there, maybe this is a rot 13 or something in behind there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could
make it a layered puzzle. So
extra twist.
So with something like that, if I figured out what this language was, let's say I didn't figure it out the way I did because it didn't make any sense, and I start putting letters there and it doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
Well, you don't stop. You go ahead and finish the whole thing, and then you Google and see One, if it's a word in another language, or you run it through something like Rumpkin where it's got the rots, all of them there, or at least 1 through 26 anyway,
Sure.
and see if it's something like that, and see if it recognizes. Now, if it's a rot 13 in Greek, ooh, that could
Yeah.
that could be pretty difficult, unless you were raised in Greece, and then
Yeah, then maybe not so much.
they'd look at it and go, well, why is this a 5? This should be a 1.
So, all right. So let's jump into. Let's see. You have found this one, but I have. I'm of course I've spent less than 5 minutes looking at this, but
why would you look at it? It's the unsolvable puzzle.
Well, that's not the one that we're going to.
Oh, okay. All right, you can do a different one. Okay. Oh, we're not down to unsolvable puzzle yet. Sorry.
We're going in order there.
Yeah, sorry.
According to the show,
I didn't know why you put the unsolvable puzzle in here. It's unsolvable. Well, maybe it's not.
So this one says travel through time and space with someone fighting monsters, but it's so much more. Cash is a log only, no room for swag. Thanks for tackling this puzzle, and thanks for hunting this cache. The puzzle is thanks to a new caching friend in Canada, Scooter Wooby. Scouter Wooby?
I don't know, but this one could be a bear. So I knew as soon as this came out, I knew what it was. But reading it was another story.
Yeah, if you didn't know what this was in the background, it kind of reminded me of like Stargate. Everything's in this big circle and through time and space, but
Ooh, time and space, but not Stargate.
So this is another one. Again, this is going to translate to probably north chords and west chords if I had to venture a guess.
Believe it did, because I don't have that in my notes, but I have to admit on this, I sort of cheated. I went to a site where, so I found a thing where you could write this stuff. You could put in what you wanted to make, it would translate what you typed into this stuff. I didn't find a site where you could take this and it would translate it back. So like crud, and I didn't want to have to learn. Oh, Barbara says there's one that reads this stuff.
Right.
Well, I went to somewhere else and I said, hey, I posted the pictures up and said, hey, what does this say? And within hours, some guy who's more nerdy or geekier than I, or girl, whoever it was, kindly translated this stuff, and then it says, what's this for? So I got to introduce somebody to what it was for. So
geocaching,
cool.
right? That's funny. Burnt Turtle says he got this. He found one like that. Very cool.
So, Mr. Burnt Turtle, how did you solve that one? How did you get it?
Yeah, what tool did you use? I don't know if I'd know where to go. I wouldn't know where to go. I really wouldn't.
I went to a Reddit thing and found a website where people do this kind of stuff.
Do puzzles.
Because there's people that were saying, does this, translate this thing back so I make sure it says what I think it says before I get it tattooed on my arm?
That's funny.
There's nothing better than somebody having some
wrong
Japanese or Chinese symbols tattooed on them that say not what they think that it should say.
Yeah. At least this one, there's not that many people that could read it. I'd look at it and say, that's cool. You're more dedicated to that show than I am, and I love that show, but I wouldn't do it.
By the way, do you guys still go out, or I'm sure Tom does, do you ever go out to this site anymore?
Yes.
The
Oh,
geocaching.
I have
puzzle.
them send me the thing every day. I don't always look at it, but yeah.
In case people are wondering, there's a geocaching puzzle of the day. In case you're.
Yeah.
They start off easy and get progressively harder during the week, if I remember right.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, and there's a cool thing. There's at least there are a couple here where I'm at in the St. George, Utah area that somebody has taken the HTML from that said that their puzzle was the geocaching puzzle of the day on this day.
Oh wow.
It's kind of neat that they have this little HTML added to their puzzle caches, which probably is why there are so many around here. More so than where I live. But the geocaching puzzle of the day is kind of a big deal for people, especially if they use your puzzle cache as one of the puzzles that day. So,
True. Okay. Sorry. I'm sidetracking you guys.
no, you're good. So, let's see. This next one is a 5-star difficulty. And
Dan made the list once. That's cool.
yeah. I almost always hate looking at difficulty 5 puzzles because you almost always have to have some type of special inside knowledge to solve them that I usually don't have.
Right.
So 4.5, I'm good with that. But once you get to 5 and you need some type of special inside knowledge to the user manual of the world, yeah. And again, this one was first defined by Tom.
Ooh.
and this one was hard. I guarantee this one gets the difficulty rating. Because you had to figure out what language that it was in, and then you start translating, and it's like, oh well, that's just gobbledygook.
Right. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything, and then so this is a layers deep puzzle.
Oh wow. Layers.
And the hint, the hint doesn't make any sense when you read it at first. But I will tell you, once the right light bulb clicks on, and it may take a week or two or more for that to happen. I think it was probably 2 weeks for me.
Yeah.
Once it clicked, I was like, oh,
Light bulb.
done. And then it's like, out the door we go.
Light bulb.
So the hint is Gronsfield knows the author. He is so vain. And the author holds the key. So for our audio listeners who are listening, the GC code for this one is GC8X6CG. It is a 5 1.5.
D5 T1.5.
Yes.
And I guarantee this was a tough puzzle.
Yeah. So, and there were a couple of them like that on the on this list that were more difficult than some of the others. So,
I wrote down. I have what that thing translates to, but I didn't write down what language that was. Huh. I need to go back and look at that again.
all right. So now is our. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, this one took a little bit to figure out what language that was in, and then it's a JPEG thing.
Then you had to figure out what to do with the language.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what Gary alluded to earlier, the unsolvable puzzle.
Well, why are we talking about it? If it's unsolvable, oh, never mind.
Because it was unsolvable in 2019.
It's unsolvable. Oh, in 2019. Poor guy's trying to get it. He can't figure it out. He might have it by now. Looks like he's working on getting into the puzzle.
So The coordinates will not get you to the cache log, but it is where the mystery begins. Solve, and you might save the world in 2019. Well, that we know that didn't happen because look at what 2020.
Right. He didn't do a very good job because we're now in.
Yeah, he went partying before he cleaned up.
On the log sheet. So there is.
Oh, look, you did that. Yep.
So there is some white text on the cache page, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And,
what is it?
24 found it, or 24 have solved it. 59 are.
Yeah, according to Certitude, it almost looks like Pig Latin.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, everything ends in an A. So
AY.
yeah, so if you look at the first word in the second paragraph, OUNDSPEAKGRAY. So if you take the GR, throw it to the beginning, it says groundspeak, right? So it's Pig Latin at some level.
Right.
Well, it is Pig Latin.
It is Pig Latin.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Groundspeak, right.
But what's the next word after that?
Hat?
That?
No, just
I'm sorry. Look in the first. Okay.
ATHAY.
Go back to the first paragraph.
Okay.
geocacher's the second word.
Yeah. What's the word after that? After the comma?
Der.
Der.
So is it German as well?
It could be German.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's this is the onion puzzle also. It's got layers. It says
Yeah. Geocacher definitely. Yeah, there's a Bestgung geocache. I see geocache.
So
there's a letter. There's the O with the 2 dots on it. I forget the name of that, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Umlauts.
Umlauts. Yeah.
So yeah, there's the unsolvable 2019 puzzle, which looking at it, it was published on 1/1/2019. So, and of course, it was first to find it the exact same day.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
No, because it took you till 2/9.
Well, opposite side of town for me, so
that's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's a big town, huh? So
San Antonio is pretty big, yeah.
All right, so this is another one. This is a little different than what we've seen so far for these puzzles that have an image, right? So when you look at this, there's nothing here.
Oh, there's not?
Geocaching description?
Hang on. There's nothing. There's nothing in the description,
nothing
right?
There. Nope.
He does tell you omniglot, right? That's the hint.
Oh, okay.
It's omniglot. How fitting, right? You have.
I believe one of these caches, because this is back when I first got started. One of these is what introduced me to that website.
Oh,
yeah, and it's a 2.5, 1.5. But you have to come down here to click, and it brings up this image that's in the background. But if you're not sitting on a widescreen monitor, then you won't be able to see it. But you actually have to look at the image that is hosted down there to figure out. So then you have to take this, which is not an embedded image in the cache page. It's in the photo gallery.
Right.
Yeah.
So
do something with it. So where would you look?
Well, I'm going to take the hint that the cache owner gave me.
Okay.
I mean, if I was, we already know that there's an Omniglot website, that has a bunch of languages on it. That's probably going to be the place that I go to look first.
And what are you going to search there?
This has got that same alphabet with the little smiley face guy with no smiley face.
And what's it say on that page there? What's the name of the puzzle?
Bender's Cash.
Bender's Cash.
So bring up your Omniglot. Let's see Omniglot. Let's see what we got.
Oh, shoot. Now you're going to have to make me go open up Omniglot again. I close these out as I go.
Okay.
Hang on.
Oh, leave that one open.
I'm on it. Hang on.
I never watched this show, but I am familiar with it because if you told me Bender, then I know what the possibility is of what Bender means.
Well, he's a character in a horrible cartoon.
You think it's horrible? Well, that's
man, that thing is.
There's a statement.
Again, but I haven't seen more than probably 15 minutes of a Lord of the Rings movie either. So, yeah.
I couldn't get into Futurama, but that's Bender is Futurama.
So here we are.
Correct, Pizza Ninja.
All right, look up Futurama then.
That's sort of I wouldn't say it's inside information. It's fairly, well, I don't know.
But if you Googled Bender, it'd probably get you there, wouldn't it? I guarantee it wasn't too hard because I didn't watch Futurama and I figured it out.
Right.
Let's see.
I guess that's not really
I'm going to Google Bender.
Bender, yeah, that's Futurama.
It is.
Yeah. Bender Bending Rodriguez is one of the main characters in the animated television series Futurama. Blah, 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 blah.
There's a search. Okay, there's a search at the bottom of Omniglot. Okay, I was wondering where that was.
That's what I was looking for.
Played by
Go to the very
John
bottom.
DiMaggio.
There's so search for Futurama. Yep, there it is. So if you use the search tool at the bottom.
Oh, I was like, where's this search tool you're talking about? It's hidden. It doesn't have like a little, you have to.
It's down in there you go. Now if you put in Futurama.
I guess right here.
Oh, Jeff put that. Hey, Jeff, send us the link to that again, to my friend. Send us that your reference hub that you use. It's kind of like a Wikipedia. It's a Jeffopedia. Go down. If you go down, you'll see it. If you go down the search thing, you'll eventually see Omniglot down there.
Right here.
Yeah, right there. Your Omniglot.
Ta-da!
Yeah, refwikibruce.com. And you put that in the permanent show notes for that. Ref Wikibruce.
So there's your there's your smiley face with no smiley. Oh, y'all aren't seeing it. Hang on. Y'all are still stuck over on the other.
Yeah, because
it opened in a new tab.
Share the application.
Hang on. It shared it opened in a new tab. So I'm sharing the tab and everything that shows up on that.
That's okay.
So, and not the.
Yeah, it won't show the, yeah.
Yeah, when it opens in a new tab. So here's your smiley face with no smiley, just your circle and two dots, whatnot. But here are all your numbers, and the 6 was definitely in there a couple of times. And then there was a West. So
cool.
So that's the one we were looking at earlier that I kind of figured out what it was without going through it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Now you just saved me some more time.
All right, let's look at this one because this one I have looked at it all of 60 seconds now.
So this one was put out by
Not
a local
dogma.
puzzle guy who doesn't cache anymore because he got frustrated with people who would solve it and then share without, making people at least figure stuff out. Or he'd put out a multi and then the final would get out. So don't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because this guy put some effort into his stuff, and so that's what you got right here.
Huh. Oh, I have an idea.
What's your idea?
An idea.
I have an idea. This is very. If you ever watch any of the ancient history, well, what do we call it? Not ancient history. I'll find the series, but they talk about Irish language. That was old Irish language is, but it was also they found some of these this in Oklahoma, and they feel like that there probably were some explorers that used it because Native Americans probably did not know the Irish Ogram.
I love it.
Yeah, Ogham.
That's it.
That's it. Risk it for the brisket.
Yeah, so
And this guy hadn't cashed in years, but I guarantee that cash is right where it's at because, man, that was a booger bear of a hide.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee it's still there.
That's good. All right, let's see. What is
Next one's a little easier.
So it is that one. All right. I'm just making sure that I was going to the right one.
Actually, the next three are easy, and I haven't even done the last two. I think.
The last two were put up by me.
Yeah, I haven't done the last two.
Unless you've been to Wyoming.
I have been to Wyoming, but not recently.
So this cache has been archived. So,
yeah, this is one of the first ones I found. Oh my gosh, when did I find this?
So here's what you're looking for on this page is this 3 lines of text right here in the middle.
Yep.
Interesting.
I had been caching 3 months when I found this one.
Oh, really?
It tells you up here at the top that it's Navajo.
Oh, okay.
Right. So there is a Navajo translator on, was it the decode.fr?
I believe there's one on Decode. I'm wondering if there's one on Google.
I know the Decode FR website has a Navajo translator on it. So you can use the Navajo translator there to solve this or to create your own puzzle there in your neck of the woods.
Right.
But it does talk. It's got some pictures that obviously are missing since Groundspeak has done some upgrading to their picture hosting and whatnot. And since this cache has been archived, probably.
I love this guy's cache name.
What was his cache name?
Waza.
Waza.
Yeah.
Gary, you've been caching forever. What does WAS stand for?
Oh, WAS is the one of the geodetic or the satellites. Is WS a satellite thing or no?
It wasn't part of the satellites. It was part of the software, I guess, in your GPS. I think it was
Oh, okay.
wide angle augmentation system, and that's what
okay.
got you down to 20 feet back in the old days.
Oh, right.
And it was what was that? That was a Bud Light commercial, wasn't it?
Or just regular bug commercial.
It was something, yeah, because all the guys would be like, "What's up?"
What's up?
Yeah, it was horrible. It was
It
horrible.
was. But what's funny is that it went viral.
I bet
for
sometime
time.
on Podcast You Hope we do that.
All right, let's see. These are two that I have both found. Hang on, let me before I share this screen, let me scroll down so people can't get the corrected coordinates for it.
Well, make Gary look it up then.
Nah, I got
look it up. While you're doing that, I can show you the people are wondering about brisket for the brisket. There's the sign. Bucky's risk it for the brisket.
That's
the
right.
Our plant stays home. In Texas, we just tell you to risk it for the brisket. Bucky's, I love Bucky's.
So for our audio listeners who have never, for anybody who's never been to a Bucky's in Texas,
to a Bucky's, they're going to be in Georgia now here soon.
Yeah, they're in a few other states now. So they have 400 gas pumps out in front.
Well, the largest one to date, just outside of Corpus, just outside of Galveston, had 125 gas pumps. That didn't count the diesel that's around back. It was 125 gasoline pumps.
And that was where? In Galveston?
Yeah, it was south of Houston, between Houston and Galveston.
So did they even truck the gas in, or is it just piped over?
They did. Yeah, they probably just can slingshot it from Beaumont over there.
So if you're going through a road trip, I'll say in Texas, you stop at these places because there's 100 bathrooms for each sex. There's at least 100. I mean,
yeah,
I have never had to wait in a guy's restroom in this thing.
Never had to, and they have 24/7, 365 staff that basically live in there cleaning it nonstop.
Gary has eaten his brisket off of the toilet seat.
Absolutely. It's that clean.
It's that clean.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it's good, and it's good stuff. So yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's jump into these last two real quick.
It's a gas, and it's a gas.
Is it a
station.
mall or a gas station? Yes.
Well, yeah, I would say yeah.
The answer is yes.
The gas station in the front and the mall in the back with a big giant food court in the middle.
You can buy a deer feeder. You can buy obviously brisket.
They've got a wall of beef jerky.
You can buy. There's a wall of beef jerky. You can buy.
Oh my gosh, that whole end of the store is nothing but snacks.
Wine.
Yeah.
You can buy. Okay, we're getting off track. I'm sorry. Go back.
The snack section is bigger than my house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So this one comes from Starfleet Command. This is one of our out of this world alphabets that we're looking at. If you are a Star Trek fan, then you'll notice you should recognize what this symbol at the beginning of the alphabet down here is, or at the beginning of the puzzle. So this is again a JPEG image, but at the very beginning of it is a symbol, and that is the symbol for the Klingon. Group of people.
Language. Well, yeah, the language and the race
of
the Klingon race.
Yeah. So it tells you there's a Klingon class warship orbiting near Earth's moon, has been engaged by Romulans. And so I kind of like this because there was some, he wrote up some, a backstory to this.
Backstory. Yeah, that's cool.
And so he says you must decode the Klingon coordinates to retrieve the capsule, right? So there's this capsule that you got to go out and find. whatnot. And so when you get out there to the middle of the Wyoming desert, and once you've decoded this and gotten out there, there is a 6-inch round PVC pipe about 1.5 feet long that is the container for this. So,
Oh, that's cool.
and it looks like that.
Oh, it's got the symbol, the Klingon symbol.
And it's got the Klingon symbol on it, but it's
Yeah,
out
pretty cool.
it's out in the sticks. I mean,
Carries
it's
the theme.
yeah,
And
and so,
has Homeland Security been to it yet?
and so for me, a
Fortunately,
cache like this where they make a story,
yeah,
and then they carry it all the way through to the cache container at the end.
yeah.
Hey, that thing right there, that's going to get a favorite point for me, because you just were creative and carried it all the way through to the end.
Right.
Well, I'll solve this one for you, but I want a case of Romulan ale.
That's funny.
And then, this was before I started doing this, so I don't mind. This is the last one, and this was one of the.
I will not solve it though if you give me what Worf thinks a Warrior's drink is.
Well, what was Worf's?
His Warrior's drink was prune juice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This one is probably one of the first puzzle caches that I solved in Wyoming, and was before I started using corrected coordinates. I still I solved it and then manually just punched the coordinates into my GPS and off we went. But if you're a Star Wars fan,
Yep.
then this is a good puzzle for you. It is Who Shot R2-D2 Revisited. The first version of this went MIA. But there is your puzzle. This again is a image that he has uploaded. But if you recognize the character that's in the background, or you recognize what the symbol is at the very top of...
That's that cheese delivery guy.
Absolutely.
The cheese delivery guy.
Yeah, Boba Fetta.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Can we mute Tom? All right. So here we are finishing up. So this was a great cache. This one again got a favorite point from me. Once I solved this and got to the container, let's see.
So is there a storyline with it? I'm just wondering if it's like who shot with the name of who shot R2D2. I'm wondering if it's a retelling of who shot JR.
Oh,
Too young for that.
I don't know if you can see that. The cache.
I did. Who's that dog you're with?
Yeah, she's still around. So inside he had all of this cool Star Wars swag inside and that was the cache container.
Oh, very cool.
Was a little R2-D2, and R2-D2, his head swiveled up, and so all of the stuff was down inside his little can body. But he had all of this cool little Star Wars swag, and we left a bunch of stuff, and we each... Is
the keyword had?
Well, there have been finders since me.
I got a little 3D one.
Yeah, there you go.
3D R2-D2.
Oh, is that Monteus?
Antaeus did that, yeah. The top comes off and the log is in there. Well, supposed to be in there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this one was a really cool. The hike to get out there was but the original Who Shot R2D2 one, you had to get to one spot and then do projection coordinates as to, R2 was shot here, and because there's zero gravity in space, he went, this direction at this distance, but he turned his little jets on. And anyhow, it was a really cool write-up for the first one, but the cache container went missing. And so he did some work and got another one out there. But this is a Mandalorian. And so if you can find you a Mandalorian translator, then you can easily solve what the puzzle is and then head off out to it. So,
and I would assume now it's probably pretty easy to find one since there's a new TV show.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Season 2 coming up. I'm a big fan of it.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, they're liking how you wore your Star Wars shirt. So yes, you nerded out, didn't you?
I did. But I'll tell you, I probably have enough Star Wars T-shirts in my wardrobe closet that I could probably wear a Star Wars shirt every day for probably 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
If not close to 3, and not wear the same shirt twice.
I got 3. Oh, by the way, you're wearing a Bucky shirt too.
I am wearing a Bucky shirt.
Check that out, Bucky.
Yeah, there's my Bucky shirt.
Funny we mentioned it.
Telling you, y'all come to Texas, go to Bucky's and get the Bucky nuggets, the beaver nuggets.
Beaver nuggets, yep. Gotta get some beaver nuggets. And a shirt.
And a brisket.
And brisket. Gotta get brisket. And icy and coffee.
And go to the bathroom. The cleanest bathroom you will find.
There's some funny billboards along the way
there are.
But
Gary, do we want to show this last one that you threw down there at the bottom of your tip?
You covered it.
All right.
Basically, what I want to do is we covered it, but the thing is that you can't always cut and paste. And that was my point. So that's just a note that we covered it well.
And most of them that are done out there now, the cache owners have made it to where you can't just copy and paste it and throw it into the Google machine to have it spit out an answer for you. Which is fairly common now. So
I'll get
these as a future show sponsor.
What you got?
Pizza Ninja's asking about Bucky's as a future show sponsor.
Oh, that'd be great. I don't think they want to mess with us, but
never hurts to ask. Tell them we'll be drinking coffee on Podcast to Hope to stay away.
That's right. And we'll be drinking Bucky's. They have their own coffee.
They do. And it's
good.
It's pretty good. So all right. All right, Gary. So final thoughts?
Very good. You guys covered it well. The tools are great. I really love that part. I'd forgotten about some of the tools, and that they'll be in the show notes. I'll put the show notes up here in a few minutes. And I'm excited about next week. You guys covering symbols, symbolic languages. We covered it a little tonight, but I think you guys could delve a little further into the cryptic or the cuneiform.
When you think about it, every language is really symbols, but we're getting into something a little different, where something is a symbol for a letter you already know.
Right. Yeah. It could be right. It could be all sorts of. It could go different directions, but that's
like Morse code.
Yeah, Braille. Braille is an example, I think, too.
But I don't want to give too much away because we got to say something for the show next week.
Well, yeah, there's ways to do it. All right.
Any last words from you, Tom?
I love these kind of puzzles. I love it, especially especially ones where I can figure it out without having to do the real hard work on it. But I think these are always fun. And I've learned from looking at Omniglot that I am glad I didn't grow up like Indian or Asian. By Indian, I mean Indian, not American Indian. But
Right.
because it takes like 30 minutes to write some of them letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very expressive letters.
They're gorgeous, but you'd be there all day, right? I complained about having to write 6-page stuff for college, and I think if I had to write a 300-word essay in Indian, I'd just cry. I mean,
Yeah.
I could take all weekend.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jilly. Jilly? That's different. Usually you don't see a Y on there. Pizza Ninja, thank you. All right. We're ready to wrap up, Charles?
Yeah. And remember, guys, if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, bitches, gripes, complaints, send an email to
Free beer and pizza.
puzzletalkpodcast@gmail.com. We do read all of your emails. And if you've got any ideas or things that you'd like to throw out for a future show, hey, shoot us an email, write us a couple of sentences and let us know what you're thinking. And who knows, it may turn into a show further down the road.
I guarantee it.
That's right. So I guess until next time, guys, this next week when we're doing symbols.
Symbols. We'll see you next Tuesday.
They're concerned that you shaved your beard, Gary.
I know. It'll grow back.
Maybe it's part of a puzzle cast.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.